So let's take a basic look at how PeerGrade works. Now, again, I use this for doing some practice FRQ work for AP Biology. FRQs are free response questions, essay questions. This certainly could be used at any level of biology for any type of writing assignment as well. So let me share the screen with you. We're going to be looking at it from a teacher view. So there's two things that the teacher has to do. Two things. One, they have to provide the prompt or question, and two, they have to provide the rubric so students can respond to the prompt or question. So in this case, you can see I provided the question one of two ways. Students could either click this link and go to a Google Doc of the question, or they could open up and take this PDF of the question. Either way was going to be fine. We met in a Zoom meeting, and we had students download the question or prompt. Then they were put into breakout rooms of about 3 to 4 students per breakout room. I gave them about 10 minutes to talk about the questions. And then we had writing time. They wrote for 15 minutes on the second prompt, and they wrote for 25 minutes on the first prompt. And then that sort of ended our Zoom meeting. I then set the due dates and times so that the peer review, the feedback, was due about 5 or 6 hours later that day, which students all said was no problem. It took about 15, 20 minutes to give the peer review. So what will happen is once students submit their responses, which could be written in a photo or it could be in a document, it was very, very similar to what actually happened for the national, the peer review program will automatically assign it anonymously to 3 other students to review it. And in order for students to review, you have to provide the second piece, which is the rubric. I created the rubric very simply by simply taking the College Board scoring guidelines and copying and pasting. So for part A, there was 2 points, one for describe, and this was a description of what they had to describe. And second point was for explain, and this is what they had to explain. And I set it up so students just simply had to check yes or no. You can set it up for written comments or for rating scales. I found yes or no to be easiest for this particular application. So once students, so let me show you what it looks like when students score this. So if I go over here, you can see the teacher, me. I have not scored this particular one. It was scored by 3 different students, but I could also score it if I want to. I don't have to. And I'm going to show you this just so you can see what the students also see. The nice thing about scoring is it gives you the student response. This is this student's typed response on the left, and this is the rubric on the right. And so I can read part A and quickly check yes or no for the 2 points in part A. I can scroll and read part B and quickly check the 3 or 4 points for part B. And then I submit that, and then that goes back to the student. When that goes back to the student, they can see the scores they got from all 3 reviewers, and they can also see it point by point. Here's the first point for A. All 3 reviewers gave a yes, so she earned the point from all 3 reviewers. My name would be there also if I had completed one. And you can see in the second point for part A, all reviewers did not give her the point, so there was some consistencies there. But on some questions, there was a mix yes, no, and that's where she could use the comment button to ask for more feedback or clarification. So a pretty straightforward, pretty easy process. Students get to get multiple feedback. It doesn't put all the work on top of the teacher. And it worked, I felt, very effectively for this task of reviewing for writing FRQs for the national exam. So let's go back to the live session.